Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to new beginnings.
Yes.
Say yes to.
So, how would you describe the reception so far?
Awesome. One, it's like, oh, this gentleman has done this for so many years, both on TV and radio, and we have seen what he did with Faji. We have seen what he did with Ray Power. Let's now see what he would do for himself. And I was a little bit, a bit scared at the outset, but I must say that it is so overwhelming, the reception, the kind of feedback that we've been getting since we hit the airwaves. It's been very, very, very awesome. I can't even find the right word to describe it.
All right.
That within this very short time, we are making this level of impact, and it's based on what we have done in the past. If you have not done, look at what you do. Look at what you do. All those your interviews, all those your interaction with key industry leaders that you capture in books. Look at the reception. Look at how people. I'm very sure that if you don't have a pedigree of where you're coming from, some doors will not open for you. Some people will not even want to listen to you. They will not even want to talk to you. Where are you coming from? But because they have seen what you have done in the industry, in entertainment, in journalism, in all of that, and how you have carried yourself. Let me tell you something. If you have, in the last 3 decades, if you've had one major scandal, I doubt if some of the people that you interact with, some of the people that listen to you, some of the people that follow you, some of the people that you, at one phone call say, I want to come and talk to you, I doubt if they will answer you. And so it has to do with your personality, what you have done, and how you have been able to manage that personality, how you have been able to manage temptation. Because of this job that we do, temptation day well.
Now God can help us.
Now God help us.
Okay. So what's your staff strength like at the moment?
I think we're about 10 or 11.
Okay.
We're about 10 or 11.
Okay. Now, what would be your response to some people who say, that the Lagos market is saturated with radio stations? Do you agree with that?
Well, it is saturated. One of the questions I put to the zonal director of the NBC in Ibadan, in one of our discussions, I said, don't you think Lagos is saturated? He said, are you talking about Lagos or the greater Lagos? I said, well, the greater Lagos. But when you talk about the greater Lagos, you're even talking of stations in, say, Ikorodu, stations in Ekpe, stations in Ota, stations in Arepo, Ibafu. That's the greater Lagos that we're talking about. He said, well, if you say they are saturated, have you thought about the stations in New York alone? There are over 600 stations in New York, and all the stations are on. I said, well, but New York is a different environment, it's a different distance. They don't have the issues that we contend with here, electricity, running costs, and all of that. So they can afford, they own the technology in the first instance, and they have other opportunities that we don't have here. So, and the market is not so restricted and limited. Like I said, well, you know what? You applied for the license. Lagos is saturated to you, but to us in the NBC, it is not saturated. Because as long as we still have frequencies to give, we'll give. And for people to be able to, join the business. But it's now left for you to go out there, use your own experience, use your network and connection and all of that, and stand out and catch it. Have a niche for yourself to be able withstand whatever competition that you have.
Okay. Now, what is your dream for Smiles FM?
Well, the dream is to not only be one of the best in the market, to also show how it is done and how it should be done. Uh, Radio has gone, or broadcasting generally, has gone beyond the big building, the big equipment, uh, the over bloated, most of the time, bloated workforce, and all of that, to what we call the minimalist approach to broadcasting. Everything becoming smaller, minimal, and all of that. Imagine what we're doing right now on Instagram. This was not possible some 15 years ago, or possibly 10 years ago. The meetings that we conduct now, of using some software to conduct meetings where everybody almost from across the globe, you are done with within 10-20 minutes. You are done with your meeting and all of that, instead of wasting money on flights and all of that. Nobody, I don't know, some 20 years ago would have imagined that we will have such. So radio has now gone from what it used to be to what we have now. So my dream and desire for Smart FM is to also move with technology, to also move in line with what technology in the world dictates. That we should be able to broadcast from anywhere in the world and still serve the Lagos market. That is the radio of now, and that is the radio that I desire to have. It might be difficult to also have stations all over Nigeria and all over the world, but possibly, God willing, maybe before age begins to really tell. So well, maybe we will have some others located across the globe.
Okay.